I'm standing in the early 12th century Palatine Chapel in Palermo, Sicily. It is simply an amazing sight. The whole chapel glows gold with this wonderful fusion of Latin, Byzantine, and Islamic art. The walls are covered with mosaics of biblical stories, with tiles fired with intricate Islamic patterns covering the granite columns and the floors. In the apse is a mosaic of Christ gazing in benediction with the inscription, "The Light of the World," whilst at the other end there is a mosaic of Christ, the Lawgiver. But what I'm really doing is looking at the saints' feet. Are they wearing sandals or not? The reason that I'm asking this is because I am fascinated by our new icon hanging in the Lady Chapel in the cathedral. The icon is of the Blessed Mary gazing lovingly at the Christ child in her arms. And when you look at Jesus, you see that he is only wearing one shoe. Now, it might simply be that, like any small child, he doesn't like wearing shoes and has kicked one off. But another explanation is that this depicts the two natures of Christ, Jesus being both fully divine and fully human. So the question that I've come to the Palatine Chapel in Sicily to answer is this. Does the sandal that Jesus is wearing in our icon reflect his divinity or his humanity? Which way round is it? Well, there were 6 of us charged with this mission to find out whether the saints in heaven wear shoes or not. And all of us independently came to the same conclusion. Some were wearing sandals and others weren't. So I'm left pondering. On the one hand, the author of the letter to the Ephesians speaks about wearing the shoes of peace in sharing the good news of Christ. But surely in heaven the good news is fully revealed, and so shoes are unnecessary. And remember Moses, when he approached the burning bush, he was told to take off his shoes, for he was standing on holy ground. So no shoes in heaven. On the other hand, there is the spiritual. I got shoes, you got shoes, all of God's children got shoes, my Lord. And when we get to heaven, gonna put on our shoes, we're gonna walk, we're gonna talk all over God's heaven. And I love the collect that speaks of Christ transforming the poverty of our nature by the richness of his grace, from the poverty of bare feet to the richness of new souls, perhaps. Does it matter which way round it is? No, of course it doesn't. But as an Easter people, it's good to reflect on what it means to be clothed in the gospel. And one thing I can add is that in all the mosaics, the saints were either wearing a pair of shoes or not. So I think this makes our icon with one shoe on and the other off extra special. And whenever I gaze upon it, I will ask myself, when I walk across heaven, will I be wearing the gospel shoes of peace or not? That is, if I'm invited through the pearly gates in the first place. Better polish my shoes.